Hello, welcome to my poster for OHBM 2020, titled Depression Phenotypes and Structural Brain Changes Following Childhood Trauma. I'm Rebecca Madden and I'm a Wellcome Trust PhD student at the University of Edinburgh. Childhood trauma is remarkably common in society. Indeed, around 50% of people report one or more adverse childhood experiences retrospectively. Several large-scale population studies have found that increased report of childhood adversity associates with an elevated risk for a range of adverse health outcomes, from cardiovascular disease to broken bones, and particularly to depression. This strong association with depression is likely to operate at least in part through maladaptive psychological mechanisms. However, it's also possible that structural brain changes associated with childhood adversity may underlie the vulnerability. Although this question has been widely researched in the past, there's still not a strong consensus as to which brain regions are most affected. We believe this may be partly due to a tendency in the literature for researchers to take a hypothesis-driven approach, pre-selecting regions that they think will associate with childhood adversity, rather than taking an a priori approach to see what falls out naturally. In Edinburgh, we have great access to two UK-based imaging cohorts, Straddle and UK Biobank. In the present study, we ran regressions between the scores on childhood trauma scales in these cohorts and free surfer-derived T1 structural brain metrics for cortical thickness and surface area, as well as 8 subcortical volumes and whole lobe and whole brain measures. Then, capitalizing on our access to the raw data in both cohorts, we mega-analyzed them together rather than having to rely on meta-analysis. Only the volume of the ventral diencephalon was significantly associated with childhood adversity across Straddle, UK Biobank, and the mega-analysis, as you can see in the main figure. This is a free surfer-derived composite structure, which includes the hypothalamus as well as other small subcortical structures. The hypothalamus has been associated with both depression and the stress response, so this finding could be relevant to the idea of stressful early life events. To probe the finding further, we investigated which subscales from the childhood trauma questionnaire associated most strongly with the ventral diencephalon volume. As you can see in the main figure, panel E, we found that physical abuse was the only subscale significantly associated across all three analyses. In the replication design, we also observed that childhood adversity associates with smaller surface area across all 5 lobes of the brain. At mega-analysis, where we had our largest sample size, childhood adversity showed a significant negative association with surface area in 15 of the 34 cortical regions examined, as you can see in figure 2, but it only associated with thickness at 2 regions. This suggests that childhood adversity is more associated with cortical surface area than thickness in these cohorts. In conclusion, we have demonstrated associations between childhood adversity and adult brain structure in a replication study across 2 large UK-based samples. We also validated a strong relationship between childhood adversity and lifetime incidence of depression. Our next step will be to look at mediation via these structural imaging findings in the association between childhood adversity and depression. Thank you very much for listening.